Hi there, welcome to TCM. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Starting early this morning, we kicked off day 25 of Summer Under the Stars with 24 hours of Dustin Hoffman movies. We have 3 left before we turn the page to day 26 and Mary Astor. Up next, one of Hoffman's early landmark performances. He stars alongside Jon Voight in a 1969 drama from British director John Schlesinger, Midnight Cowboy. Based on a novel by James Leo Herlihy, it's the story of an unlikely friendship between 2 men living on the seedier side of New York. One of them, Jon Voight, is a wannabe gigolo from Texas who thinks wealthy women will pay him for sex. The other is a sickly petty thief and con artist with a limp, played by Dustin Hoffman. They have great names. Voight is Joe Buck, Hoffman, Ratso Rizzo. This was an unusual role for Hoffman to take at the time. After struggling for roughly a decade to earn a living as an actor, Hoffman finally broke through in 1967 with his Oscar-nominated performance in The Graduate, which we presented earlier tonight. So with the ability now to essentially choose his next part, Hoffman opted against playing a mainstream leading man in a traditional drama or in a romantic comedy. Instead, Hoffman wanted to play this character, Ratso Rizzo, who looked as if he hadn't bathed since the end of the Eisenhower administration. The director of The Graduate, Mike Nichols, he warned Hoffman not to take the part. "Are you crazy?" Nichols said to Hoffman. "I made you a star. This is an ugly character, and it's a supporting role." But Hoffman ignored the advice. Despite his newfound fame, Hoffman wanted to remain first and foremost a character actor, and he went after this role with a vengeance, proving to director John Schlesinger that he could look and act the part by walking the streets of New York with him. Hoffman knew what he was doing. A few months after the film's released, he had his second Best Actor Oscar nomination. From 1969, also with Sylvia Miles and Brenda Vaccaro, Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboy. Dustin Hoffman badly wanted to play Ratso Rizzo in Midnight Cowboy, though friends and colleagues advised him not to take the role, fearing he'd squander the goodwill he'd worked to build up with his performance in The Graduate, released 2 years earlier. Hoffman, though, was confident he'd made the right decision. That is, he was confident until he attended a preview screening of Midnight Cowboy. During that screening, Hoffman watched people in the audience, quite a few of them, get up out of their seats and walk out of the theater. Rarely a good sign. Later, Hoffman and the rest of the crew and the cast learned that Midnight Cowboy had been given an X rating. Hoffman later confessed that at that moment, "We thought this could be the end of everybody's career." Ultimately, though, that X rating, thought to be the kiss of death to a movie's marketing campaign, may have helped draw in curious viewers, not because they necessarily wanted to see sexual content, but because there was controversy around it. Here was a mainstream Hollywood movie from a big-time director, John Schlesinger, and an Oscar-nominated actor, Dustin Hoffman, with an X rating. So despite the preview screening, Midnight Cowboy became one of 1969's biggest moneymakers, nominated for 7 Oscars, winning 3, including Best Picture. Up next, more tales of Hoffman, an underappreciated story of an ex-con trying desperately to do what's asked of him.